The forest floor is a tapestry of damp leaves and moss, each step a soft, muffled sound in the immense quiet. It's been days since I saw another soul. The sun offers little warmth. Hunger sharpens my senses. My pack is light, its contents dwindling. Survival is small victories. Today I try to create bread, here in the wild. The real test, baking bread with only what the wilderness provides. Warm, crusty bread made by hand from the forest's essence is a testament to human ingenuity. Long before packaged yeast, our ancestors were master bakers, pioneers of sourdough. They knew that a simple mixture of flour and water, left alone, would bubble and swell. They didn't know the names of the microbes, but they understood the process by feel and smell. Wild yeasts are everywhere, in the air, on plants, in the soil. When they find sugar, they ferment, producing gas that gives bread its texture. For ancient people, a successful starter was precious, a living culture passed down through generations. Losing it meant starting over, recapturing the wild spirits of the air. Here in the woods, I must begin from scratch, inviting the wild yeasts of this forest into my flour and water. The bread I hope to make will be of the wilderness, its flavor and life force drawn from the land itself. This is the essence of bushcraft, using ancient knowledge to live in harmony with nature. No shortcuts, no guarantees, just a direct conversation with the environment. The challenge begins. The hunt for wild yeast begins with observation. I search for surfaces where microorganisms are concentrated, especially the skins of fruits and berries. Even in January, a few shriveled rose hips cling to their branches, their waxy coating a treasure trove of wild yeast. I carefully pluck a handful of these dried rose hips. The bark of certain trees, like wild cherry, can also harbour unique yeast strains. I scrape a small amount of bark, taking care not to harm the tree. The air itself is my silent partner. Every time I uncover my mixture, I invite airborne yeast to join. Every forest has its own unique microflora, giving traditional breads their distinct character. My bread, if successful, will have a flavour unique to this place. With rose hips and bark in hand, I return to camp. I am not gathering ingredients but catalysts, small sparks of life. The forest has provided the spark, now it's up to me to nurture it into a flame. The transformation begins. Creating a wild yeast starter is an exercise in patience. I begin with wholemeal flour and water, mixing them into a thick paste. I crush the rose hips, add bark shavings, and stir them into the mixture. This is the moment of introduction, the beginning of a partnership. I cover the pot with a cloth, allowing airborne yeasts to settle while keeping debris out. The pot sits near the fire, where gentle warmth encourages activity. Too cold, and the yeasts remain dormant. Too hot, and they die. Each day I discard half the starter and feed it with fresh flour and water. This daily ritual provides food for the yeast and keeps the environment healthy. The process connects me to the ancient rhythm of baking. I observe, tend, and respond to the needs of this living culture. It's like caring for a small invisible animal. The art of the wild baker is in patience and attention. The starter is alive, and the transformation is underway. Now I wait. Inside my pot, a microscopic partnership unfolds. Wild yeasts and lactic acid bacteria working together. The yeasts consume sugars, producing carbon dioxide that makes the bread rise. Lactic acid bacteria add tangy flavor and create an acidic environment, protecting the starter from spoilage. This partnership makes the bread more nutritious and digestible. Fermentation unlocks nutrients and breaks down anti-nutrients in the grain. The starter is pre-digesting the flour, making the bread easier on the body. Over time, a stable culture forms, a living community of organisms. The science is complex, but the result is simple, healthier, more flavorful bread. Baking becomes a collaboration with the invisible forces of nature. The wild starter is ready, hailed. The path to a successful wild starter is fraught with challenges. Contamination is the greatest danger. Unwanted molds or bacteria can spoil the mix. If the starter turns pink, orange, or develops fuzzy spots, it must be discarded. Wild yeasts are unpredictable, especially in the January chill. I must constantly adjust the starter's position near the fire, balancing warmth and safety. Patience is essential. Signs of success: small bubbles on the surface, a pleasant, tangy aroma, and a subtle effervescence when stirred. Failure smells foul. Trust your senses. When the starter bubbles vigorously and smells clean, it's ready. The invisible hunt has succeeded. The wild culture is alive and healthy. Now it's time for the next stage. The real baking begins. With a lively starter, it's time to create the loaf. I mix flour, starter, water and a pinch of salt, forming a sticky dough. Kneading on a flat rock, I build the gluten network that will trap the yeast's gas. After 10 minutes, the dough becomes smooth and elastic. I let it rise near the fire, waiting for it to double in size. Once risen, I shape it into a round loaf and let it rise again. My oven is a hot stone in the embers, covered with a preheated pot and surrounded by coals. The dough is enveloped in heat, and the transformation begins. I listen for the sizzle of the crust forming. After about 40 minutes, I lift the pot. A golden brown loaf emerges, its crust blistered and cracked. The aroma is deeply comforting, a scent of home even here. I let it cool, then break it open by hand. The wild bread is ready. The first bite is a revelation, nothing like a shop-bought loaf. The flavour is complex, wholemeal, tangy, with an earthy undertone from the wild yeasts. It's nourishing in a way that goes beyond calories. This bread is the taste of patience, knowledge, and resilience. It is the wilderness itself, transformed into something life-giving. This single loaf connects me to our ancestors who performed this same alchemy to survive. It proves that with knowledge and respect for nature, we can find sustenance and comfort in the wild. This is not just a survival skill, it's a way of seeing the world. The most essential things, food, warmth, life, come from simple, patient work and partnership with nature. This ancient skill is a timeless testament to human ingenuity. The bread is more than food. It's a story of hope and endurance. In the heart of the wild, I have created more than a meal. I have created a connection to the land, to the past, and to the enduring spirit of humanity. This is the true gift of wild bread.